Microsoft, which is the Copilot thing. Lisa, did you got a chance to kind of have a look on it?
Didn't have time even to think about it.
Oh, yeah. I forgot. Yes, so they are kind of not just from an client perspective where you can use it as a marketing text, which is still seems pretty salesy, more or less. But then there is something also called GitHub Copilot, which is kind of an the AI for developers, more or less. And I was watching some videos from Microsoft. I didn't give it a try yet, but I was looking at it today during my free time, that what it is. And this is not yet most talked about topic, but it seems it's available with VS Code, and it is not just for AI, but in general, it's available in VS Code. So I was thinking I'd play around with it, but Sandeep sir, and if you guys have something that we need to talk about, we can do that.
No, it sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, so what I have seen on that video from Microsoft, it is a marketing video more or less, that there should be something called GitHub Copilot. Yeah, that's what I've written on my notes. GitHub Copilot. And people who went to directions US have also taken some screenshot and shown it on Twitter and all. So this is GitHub Copilot, which is your AI pair programmer. So it can actually help you as a developer to write some code. I don't know how effective it is from the perspective of Business Central, but there was some samples where people were sharing what it can do and all. So it can also help you in writing automated tests, it seems. So I don't know how that, oh, it can create SQL queries for you. Okay, this is, and I also read somewhere that your source control should be GitHub, and I'm not sure about that part. So I'll not make any statements about it. But, and it's paid. There is a free trial for a period, I guess, and then you start paying for it. I don't know the exact price for it. Maybe it's here somewhere. Or can I?
Down on the right, there was like looked like a link box to Marketplace or something. See that? That might tell you something.
Yeah, let's go there. Okay, it's been a while. People are playing with it. Let's do. As in, I'm pretty sure there is a trial version for it. Is there a GitHub Copilot for Business Central? Something like that. Let me search for it. Anything for AL? GitHub Pilot, not free programmer. That is something else. Okay, because Microsoft have not said it much. There are one or two videos, I guess, where they are talking about it. But let me see the link that I was referring to. Here it is. Start my free trial and compare plans. So for sure, it's something that will be paid as a service. Let's see what the prices look like. So Copilot for individual is $10 per month and $100 per year if you want to subscribe to the service, it seems. And so let's test it out. Is it even worth spending that kind of money? And then Copilot for business is $19 per user per month. And that's it, I guess, on the pricing. It might not be that useful at this point for Business Central. I'm hoping because Business Central is pretty new in VS Code, but for other programming language, it might help. But okay, let's give it a try. Okay. After that, $10. Let me not do it here. Let me try to do it from here. GitHub Copilot and see what happens. Does it take me to the browser and say this is where your pricing are, or it just gets installed? And I guess because the website says that it's on the GitHub as a plugin, it seems. That's where I guess there are some statements that I read that your source code should be in GitHub, which I'm not sure yet. Because if it's an AI, it need to read or learn from somewhere, right?
Hey, and that other page there, Saurav, there was like a, did you see that? There's like an error message up at the top or a warning, you got to fill something out.
Select your preference. Yeah, because I came from that link. Because I clicked here, then it.
Oh, okay.
I'm just seeing why it is not installing, or how big it is to install.
It says 5.2 meg.
Oh,
That's not
it's
very
done.
big.
Oh, now once it gets installed, you need to sign in to use GitHub Copilot. So you can't just get away from that part, I guess. So let me try doing that here. Sign into GitHub, allow, and then that authorizes VS Code. Okay. Okay. GitHub Copilot could not connect to the server. Extension activation failed. Your Copilot experience is not fully configured. Okay, what are those settings? Oh, so it takes me to the same page. Let's do, what is this? Select an option. GitHub Copilot can allow or block suggestion of matching public code. So that means it will start learning from the code that is already in my source control. Which means that if you are on Azure DevOps, and this is just an assumption again, you'll have to move all that code to GitHub so that the AI, the Copilot can start learning from the code that you have written till now. And then this option is also allows it to read suggestions from the public code, which is available. So let's do allow. Allow GitHub to use my code snippet for product improvement. Okay. Get Copilot for an organization. Nope. And start my free trial. Oh, then I have to choose that option. Allow. And then let's save it. Now it says it can take up to 30 minutes to change in effect. Restart your code editor. The changes to take immediately. So starting today, I have a month, I guess, to use it for free. And then I guess the trial will expire. Okay, no problem. Let's reload this and see what happens with the GitHub Copilot. It should be part of one of the installed extension. Pilot. Okay, it's installed. Okay, so there's just the sample code as a blank extension at this moment. Let's try creating a new file. Sample.al. Okay. Let's try creating a code unit. What happened? Now IntelliSense died or what? E-code unit. Okay. Okay, let's see a sample. Okay. Oh, so as soon as I did that, the AI kind of got triggered and it started showing me something. It says when I'm writing a code unit, this should be the syntax. Trigger on run, begin my int equal to 1, and where the variable is my int integer. And then there are two options here. Seems except with the tab, which I did not do. Okay. And except the word with control right arrow. Okay, let's say tab. Alright, so it accepted, I kind of accepted the change just to see how this works. Okay, so what do you want to write first? Or try first? Let's try writing some procedures and see how it behaves.
Maybe a simple procedure just to send customer name and retrieve it into caps, or maybe something as simple as a
Yeah. Get customer. Is there a intelligence that I need to activate? I don't think so. But let me remove this. Local procedure, get customer name. Any other suggestion, guys? AI. Okay, so it says when you are doing a get customer name, you should ask for customer number code 20 and you should return a text from this method. That's a tab. Okay. And now will it suggest me to have a variable? Let's hope. Oh, it was suggesting customer record customers. Okay, sounds good. Then let's try doing if what are we needed in this world? Okay, so this returns the
I'm
customer
coming to
name.
Dehradun.
Sorry?
I'm coming to the mountains. I will
Yes,
probably
go
retire,
go go back to
go and sit down in a cave and do meditation.
Okay, let's try something a little bit complex, a little bit first to start with. It's suggesting that if you want to have another method like that, which I don't want, but get customer balance. Let's try that because that should come from customer ledger entry. Can you think of that? The procedure, and let's try to a get customer balance. Okay, again it says that the balance will be a decimal and you need a customer number if you want a customer balance. Okay, but variables, the AI things that I need. I'll need customer. Okay. Anything else AI that you can think of? Not at this moment. Okay. Let's do a if customer dot get, then exit customer balance. Balance is a flow field, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it should not. As in, that's okay. I guess it's just trying to read based on what you're writing. Let's, yeah, it's a flow field. So, okay, we would expect it to do a Kelsey field over there or not, but okay. Fazan, you were saying something? Let's find a little bit complex. Can I do the email validation that we see on different base Microsoft table? Okay, I think there is an email address, email validation that's available, right? Validate email. Okay, what it does, it calls the code on the mail management and validate the email address. Let's try that. Procedure, validate email address. Okay, begin. Do I need a where for it? What do you think, AI? You don't think that I need a where? Okay, I'll not do that. What's here? If not is email, then exit false, exit true, end. What is that? Is it suggesting me to write a method for this?
Actually,
Let's
I
do that.
tried
Go ahead.
to write something different because when you wrote the procedure the first time, I think it tried to write some regex type.
That's what I'm expecting. Maybe it can suggest it better. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, something like that. Yep.
Oh man, I surely cannot write this piece of code. If it is correct, I cannot write this code for sure. But the compiler thinks that it's incorrect. But it says the not cannot be applied on an operand of type text. But it is saying substitute string 1, 2, and 3. The first one is email, the second one is @ and third one is dot. And if you don't find that, oh, see, yeah, a not is incorrect here. What does a substitute
Maybe you
string
need to
does?
add the parenthesis
I
because
doubt,
it
but
does
let's see.
something.
If you think so, let's give it a try. No, because your substitute string does not. Does it return you something? Yes, it does return a text, but not
Yeah.
what text. Is it should be here or at the end? Maybe I'm getting confused a little bit. I guess you are expecting
Yeah.
it here. No.
Put it before not.
Before not? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
He doesn't like it.
Not okay.
Alright, but what it is summarizing to find is to find substitute string replaces the percentage 1, 2, and 3 with a string. So it will say, let's say if the input is gmail.com. So the substitute string will become the email, then this sign, and then the dot sign. It is not checking it. It is just from where the hell it thought that substitute string will do that. No, this is completely wrong. This cannot be correct.
Fine, we will train him.
Okay. So we validate email did not work. Maybe I went a little bit far, but any other thing that you can think of? Open orders? Open order balance, and I'm just trying to see that it is it reading it based on the method name or not. If it says now that from the order table get the balance or order balance, then that's it understood that it's sales header. Okay, what else, man? Sales header dot get the order number, then again the balance which does not exist. So I guess it's reading based on the method name that you write, right? If instead of this, if I would have written, let's give it a try, local procedure, open order dates. Okay, let's see what it suggests. Sales header. Okay, let's assume begin. What else? If sales header dot get order number, then exit posting date plus due date.
He definitely
No.
needs some training.
Yeah, so I don't think Microsoft should start charging for it at this moment unless it's at, and maybe I'm just thinking from the business central perspective, right? But
Can we try creating a table?
okay, let's try that. I haven't played around with it. Let's see. Okay. Hmm. Because there is one more thing in that, I guess, if I'm not wrong. If I remember it correctly, that you I haven't played around with it. Let's see. Okay. Hmm. Because there is one more thing in that, I guess, if I'm not wrong. If I remember it correctly, that you can actually search for Copilot in your here. Accept the panel, correct, and enable, disable, navigate to next panel, suggestion, previous, open, completion panel, send feedback. That's it. I think there was something else. Hmm. Okay, if I try to create, what was that command? That was create open Copilot is not there. Open Copilot. Open, no, there's nothing like that. Okay, so let's try to, what are you saying? Create a table, right? Okay, let's do a new file, sample2.al. Okay. Now I'll have to forget snippets if I'm doing this. Table, AI, anything? It should suggest me. Table, hello AI, anything? That's weird. Okay, any suggestions here about the ID? No, you don't like the ID? Okay. Any name suggestions? Get sample table. Anything? Not yet. Okay. Data classification should be customer content. I doubt that it's ready for that kind of thing at this moment to create objects. But again, it's an AI, so it'll start learning as people start using it. Let me try creating a field. Maybe it helps in a field creation. Okay. So it says create the field with the number 2, and let's just for fun, let me remove this field and make it field 100. So it just understand what's on the previous line and kind of follows that. Okay. And then this is, so Sandeep sir, it cannot surely create a whole table altogether, but it can help you while writing things.
How about just for trying sake,
Yeah.
create a page on existing table? Well, we are just trying, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying. I just set it up in front of you. So I haven't played with this for sure. Okay, here's the customer list. Okay, get anything? No, customer. Okay. I hope that maybe in future there will be a box where I can say that, okay, give me this like you do today with the chat GPT, and then start understanding what you want based on human readable format, and then just creates that. So right now it's assuming that you're creating a page on the table that we created above here. It is not reading that it is coming from the customer table. But let me just add one more field, one field manually. Maybe then it understands it. Let's do address and address too. And now let's try to add the field. Does it kind of changes the scope where it searches for the field, more or less? So let's do a field and let's open the curly braces. Let the AI think. There's no address 3, man. AI. Sorry, but there is no address 3 in customer table, obviously. So yeah, it's just I guess at this moment it is still reading whatever the source that code that I have on my GitHub, and it'll be smarter as it start reading more and more repositories on GitHub to kind of identify or build a pattern. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is, right? Can it create a sales order? Create sales order. Okay, for the customer. Okay, it knows that it is for a customer. Oh man, there's a huge list
Wow.
of
Wow.
variables that it's suggesting. So let's say tab. What else? Begin. Okay, anything that you would like to suggest now? Copilot? Anything that you're thinking of? Let's retire. If it is the minimum version of AI, then let's find something better to do. And it did not find every field, I guess. But it said the customer number, the work date, the posting date, the due date, the posting description, created by SDH sample code unit, because that's what the name of the code unit is. Okay. It picked some field, and then at this point, I guess it went into a repeat until of this section. It started repeating this code again and again. It was trying something else. No, it was just trying to repeat the same pattern again and again.
The ultimate thing is it will learn,
It will learn.
and then we
for
don't
sure.
have anything else to do.
And I have so much code in my GitHub, so it'll run everything that's there. Let's try to create sales line. What it says. This is just why it said line number. I'm just curious. Alright. And I guess
There's
I'm
a sales
judging
line
it as
variable
it is.
too. There's a sales
Oh,
line
it's have a
variable.
sales line variable also. Wow,
Item number, item.
nice. Data. Okay, sales line. I'm manually writing something. Okay, it says init. Okay, what else you would suggest? Document type. Okay, I'm not doing tab. I'm just doing tab. Okay, what else? Document number. Sorry, my bad. What you're saying here, AI, my friend? Come on. Say it. You're saying it. This saving kind of kills the whole process. But yeah, if it is still can do all this, then I'm pretty sure if we review this in a month, it'll surely do a lot better than what it is doing today. Come on. I think I can turn it off somehow. Format on save. For modification file, it's default file, which is correct. Format a file on save. Require source control. Yeah, sometimes the setting kind of kills it. Let me till then write the insert here. Maybe that's. So it did, as we said, create sales order. It did understand that it will require a customer number. And it surely did not do validate, which in some cases kind of needed. But then still were able to read the fields that seems important based on the on insert trigger, more or less. You need a customer number, document date, posting date, and a due date of 30 days from today, from the work date. Sounds interesting. Okay. Would you like to suggest anything else here? Okay, document number. Sounds good. Anything else? Line number. Okay. Shortcut dimension. What the heck? SDH? From where you picked this SDH as the shortcut dimension 1 code? And I'm pretty sure I don't have shortcut dimension as 2 is also SDH. Okay. 3 is also SDH. Come on, man. Not this. Okay. Don't go after 8. And now enter into this loop, which is of no use. Okay. Okay, I guess once it is in the middle of it where there is a number comes in, it kind of start following that sequence automatically, incrementing that number, which it'll take some time to kind of understand that this is how it does not work in Business Central. Anything else that you would like to give it an attempt to? Can I directly write here? What is this? Create sales order line. Okay. Let me see what it does. Sales header, sales line. Okay. Begin. Anything else, my friend? Come on. Give me something. Feed. No, it just sits idle. But that's okay, I guess, to begin with. It surely reduces the amount of work in some cases, but eventually, as in if you have used GPT in the beginning when it was launched, it was kind of behaving in the similar manner. And as number of people increased asking questions and correcting it as as their answers were wrong, started learning from those answers. And if you ask me, that was a good attempt from the OpenAI team to kind of teach the AI from the humans by making it freely available. I don't know, but Microsoft, and maybe as I said earlier, I'm thinking from Business Central perspective, still need a little bit of work or a good amount of work from a Business Central perspective. And for that time, I guess it should be free, where it can start learning from the mistake that it does, because it is surely reading the code that we also write. It is not just trying to generate new responses based on the patterns that the AI have written. It is also trying to read between the lines what humans have written. So if I say that whenever I'm doing a create sales order line, I'll also need, let's say, resource reference, and I'm pretty sure it'll remember that. But that's how I have experienced ChatGPT behaving. But next time, and John is in a flight or something, blending something. I'll have to mute John. Okay. So I'm pretty sure the next time when somebody trying to write a create sales order line method, it'll remember this in its memory that resource was used somewhere in the reference. And maybe let's try that, writing it again. Any suggestions? This time create sales order line again. And this time, if you see, it remembers that it need also to pass the resource number. So as we just tested it by giving a human input to the previous method, it understood that there is something new that a human have entered, and I should keep that in mind next time a similar function is required. And I'm pretty sure that as I do here, it'll also suggest resource this time. And if you are assuming that it is doing because the code is there, I hope it's this part of the change that we made. It's in the memory of AI. And if I now try to do a create sales order line again, yes, it was not here yet. It's not here yet. No, it did not remember it here. So maybe there are multiple instances where multiple people will do the same thing. I'll kind of start storing that into its memory. Do you want to try it with some complexity and what that would be? Let's see, can it post a sales order or write a routine for it? Okay, I give it an order number, makes sense. My options, I need a sales header, I need a sales line, I need a sales post costing code unit, and I also need sales and receivable setup and is handled pattern. Okay, what's your plan? I don't know about the is handled pattern to be used here, but let's see. Are you recommending AI? Get the order number. You don't do a get with the order number, but just let's assume that you are new right now in this family. But document type, let's say it's order. Oh, okay. And what else? When I did a get, why the hell I need to do a test field? But let's assume. Okay, what else? Okay, wealth, to customer number. Don't tell me you start test fielding every field in the sales at a table. That's it, man. Go to the posting routine now. Go do all these test fields. Again, it started repeating the pattern if you look at it now. No. Tell to customer number, it tried to test field twice, but now it's doing contact number. Tell to address true, postcode, city, country region, contact repeated again. Okay, it's just a pattern, I guess. It's just trying to, because you keep on accepting its input, it's just kind of trying to suggest you that. Okay, now what you would suggest for the sales line? What I should be doing for the sales line? Let's me something. Do a set range, okay, of document type. Anything else? Document number. Anything else? Don't do a set range again. Okay, set filter of quantity to ship is not equal to 0. Okay. Wait a minute. If sales line dot find first, then repeat until the sales line dot next is equal to 0, and you should test field the quantity to ship, unit of major code, unit price, VAT percentage, VAT business, VAT product posting group, shortcut dimension 1 and 2. Now, how important is that before posting? Okay. Now, what about what you would suggest me to do at this point with the variable sales setup that you have created? Sales, come on. Sales setup. Any suggestions, AI? Get, okay. Test field on price including VAT. And just remember one more thing, which I forgot to, while I was thinking about this, is all the source code from Microsoft, including the base app and the system app, are publicly available on GitHub. So it is also learning from the Microsoft source code. It is not just doing this in a vacuum. I guess all the learnings that we see here is coming based on learning it had from the Microsoft code that's available in GitHub, which is most of us reference that code while writing our code. So it is trying to refer to that. But let's see what else is there. Sales post. Let's see what it suggests for the sales post now. Sales post. Tell me. Oh, I'm writing it within the. No, I'm not. This is end here, right? Okay. Oh, it is just trying to save that file. I'm still wondering why it added the is handled pattern here. And maybe it's because it's on a custom code unit and the AI is thinking that you might write a event somewhere where you'll need the is handled boolean that I've handled at Microsoft. You don't have to do anything, or to the app that will take dependency on your app, which is pretty interesting, which let me think that should I try writing an event and see how AI behaves. Does it automatically adds an is handled pattern over there? Come on, save the file, don't wait for it. Any other thing that we want to do with this AI tool set or the GitHub Copilot, as in people who join late? Just FYI, while this is saving, we did install this called GitHub Copilot. This is a AI pair for your programmers, all the programmers that are there. It's available for a trial for, I guess, 1 month, if I remember it correctly. And you have to activate it on GitHub. So it's not just that you can just install it as a free extension. You have to go to your GitHub and authorize it, which kind of starts your free trial. I'm already in the free trial, so I can't do that. But then once you are there, it kind of connects to your account, and going forward, it seems to become chargeable going forward for different price for businesses and individual for sure. But that's what we are trying today. And it's still trying to save the file. We're done. Sandeep sir, or anyone else, John, any other thought that we can test this out somewhere else in this code?
It's new to me, so I'm thinking I'd like to see something else. I just can't think of what it would be.
Okay, let me try adding an event. The event business, okay, and that should be outside. Sorry for that. Keep it here. Before sales order post. Any suggestions? AI. Okay, so it says whenever you're doing this, also pass the sales header and the sales line, and what else? And is handled. So now it is using that is handled. Okay. And where should I place it? I think I'll have to decide that as a human. But let's see. I place it here. It automatically does that. What is the next line? It should be if is handled. Yes. Thank you. And then what else? Anything you would recommend? AI? No? Okay. Let me as human come here and try to do a sales post. Dot. Okay. Sales post dot set sales setup. Is there a method like this? I didn't know. No, it does not exist, man. There. Yeah, you're reading somewhere wrong, or maybe the older versions of NAV you're reading. So this is incorrect. There's no set sales setup, but there surely be run with a variable of, and you will suggest me that. Not these many. The run just runs on the sales header. You don't have to pass all this. Okay, what if I want to show a message right now? I'll exit through, don't worry. What if I need a message to be shown? What that message should be? Sales order posted. Okay, we want exit true. Why? Because we decided that we'll exit a boolean. And we are trying everything on the sales side. So is it only trained for the sales side? Let's give it a try. Can you post a service order? Okay, what would you suggest? Service header, service line, service post, service setup is handled. A similar kind of a pattern is on the header, line, post code unit, and the setup. What if I change it to post purchase orders or purchase codes? What will happen? AI order number. Okay. It's a pattern that it's kind of following everything on that pattern. Why the purchase post is not? Is it called a little bit different now? Okay. Anything else? Begin. Okay. And then I'll do the end for you. Don't worry. Why does not understood purchase post? It's the same variable, right? Oh, there's a dot. That is just trying to follow the pattern, which is on the sales post, there was no dot. So it just assumed that the variable will be called similar in the purchase side, which it did not, and there was a dot in there. Okay. So let's create a purchase order. How you do that? AI. But that would have been cool if there is a, there's a sub page here or a part here where I can say that I would like to do this, and then it like ChatGPT, it would have recommended a code which can be directly copied into the clipboard, which would have been cool. Okay. I also read somewhere that it can also help you in writing your automated test, which will be pretty interesting because not many people are writing automated tests at this moment. And if this can help, that'll be cool. I had somewhere where you can disable this. I kind of forgot what you need to do to kind of disable the formatter. But it does not happen every time. Once in a while, it kind of causes the problem. Oh, because there are multiple system application. Okay, base system application. Let me reload this. Forgot about it. Yes, reload it. Reload anyways. And it's not because of the AI. I know it because it happens because I'm trying to change certain things here. But come on, save it. But then for the test, for testing the automated test part, I'll have to add some libraries. And right now I'm connected to a sandbox. Those libraries will not be available. But so far, so good. I guess to begin with, I guess this is a good start from Microsoft. I don't know, will that make us more, you know, this will act as a pair programmer, or that'll be just like Google tries to complete our words. It will also try to manipulate our minds when we are writing codes. I don't know. Can I suggest it something? Write only property, customer name, customer name. What is this? What are you suggesting? I don't know what you're. Write procedure to validate customer. Can we do that? Okay, write a procedure to validate customer number and return a Boolean value. The procedure should be called from the page extension. Okay. Are you going to do that for anything for this? Or you're just trying to complete my sentence? Okay, so while we are on this, let me actually try this on the OpenAI and see what happens. And I'm pretty sure that these are not related somehow, but at the end of the day, it's all one big thing. If I send this message here, the same message, not Python, man, stop. Write a business central procedure. You can call this procedure like this. Note in this example, what? Customer.number refers to the customer table field on the customer table. Replace this with the actual field number on your table. Validate customer number. What it is trying to do, let's copy this. Oh, this is Java? Why it said Java? I said Business Central. Maybe let me change it to AL. That will show me something else. No, the same code. But what is this? Let me copy this. Let's go back here. Let me try to paste it here. Check if customer number is empty and check if customer only have desert. Okay, I don't know what it is trying to do, but that might be a typical Java procedure, not a Business Central one. Because from where I kind of saw it happening is, do you guys follow Dimitri on Twitter or on LinkedIn? So Dimitri is an MVP, and he is going to present in Directions Asia this year. And he kind of showed what he's going to show in Directions Asia. So let's have a look on it. And this is again OpenAI. So what you have done is you have modified the job queue entries page with an OpenAI or ChatGPT thing, where you can type things in plain text and it will write a job queue for it, as in set up a job queue. Where here it says run code unit 325 on the last Friday of the current month at 16:30 and click OK. And it automatically created this with recurring job and the new date formula as current month plus WD plus minus 7D running at 16:30. So this is where the word is moving from a GitHub Copilot or a ChatGPT perspective. And this is what people are doing for that. It is a more enhanced version of what we are seeing on the code. But again, all that is possible with the Copilot from Microsoft, either on the client or on your IDE. Okay, anything else that you need to try before we leave for the call it a day?
Is this extension specifically for Business Central? Is it for VS Code so you could use it in other projects like a Markdown language README file or something like that?
It's a VS Code extension. You can use it for anything if it understands it and just do it. It is not just for Business Central or AL. Yes, I'm pretty sure that I can write an HTML file. Let's see that. Sample.html. And help me, AI. Can you? I'm not good at this, but let's see. Not good as me. I haven't worked on it. Okay. Any suggestions? Doc type. Okay. Anything else? HTML. Okay. Head. Okay. Closed. Okay. Body. Okay. I don't know what else programming language you know, but it's not just for Business Central. It is an.
Could you hit
I hit the tab every time.
Hit the preview icon up on the top right to see if we can see a preview of the HTML.
Where is the preview icon?
It's on the top right. There's like for the bigger up. Go to the left a little bit on the top. One more row up. And there's like 4 icons with it looks like a splitter. One to the left.
This one?
Hover,
this is
hover
just...
over. No, not that one. Just to the left. To the. There's a. No, that's not it either. I think it's one row down. It should say something like preview. Put your mouse.
Just open that one. No, it just.
Yeah, it's not the splitter. It's a It's like a hit the 3 dots. I think it shows. Maybe it's. I don't have my Visual Studio open. It could be like a preview icon.
Go to preview problems. Go to preview problems. Panel view. PBS panel view. Maybe that's something maybe coming from an extension. But at the end of the day,
maybe.
Yeah, the summary is that it's new for sure. And anybody who's joined late, again, I'll rephrase this. This is coming from this extension, Copilot. GitHub Copilot. When you start installing it, it will take you to your GitHub page on your GitHub source control, where you'll end up authorizing it. And I'm pretty sure somewhere it's here, and I allowed it to read all the source code that is in my repo. So that's my setting. I can surely change it going forward. But these are the charges going forward. I guess it's free for a month if you want to try it out whenever you want to try. And then now I guess I'm thinking, after doing this with all of you, that to use this in the best possible way, people will have to move their source control to GitHub than Azure DevOps, because that's where the learning of AI will happen, in whatever the source code is available in the GitHub. So if your source code is on Azure DevOps, I don't know, is there a way Microsoft is trying to link all this together? But if it is not doing that, then you'll have to move your source code back to GitHub. So maybe that's a reason to move there. And I'll have to read more about it, what data it has been trained on. Codex, OpenAI. Okay, it's reading the public available sources, including code in the public repository of GitHub. So any code that you have set public, it is surely reading it from there and understanding and learning from there. Okay. Yeah, so let's be ready for introduction of AI in your life or in your code life, more or less. And let's try engaging this in our code while we are writing it and see what happens with that. Any other code? Oh, sorry, any other comments before we call it a day, or any other suggestions for the next time? I was just reading about it, and that's why we discussed it today.
Yeah, I was thinking, how will it affect the upgrades, the nav upgrades? Can they
It will
do so?
not. No, it will not. I'll understand it. Wherever there is a pattern, AI will always be helpful. Right?
Yeah.
We think we are super creative, but at the end of the day, we are surely following a pattern that has already been written either by Microsoft or some other great developers in the world. So
Mhm.
whenever, till the point, the source code that is available publicly on GitHub, the AI will get trained about it. And when you think about it from a GitHub perspective, Microsoft have all its code publicly available on GitHub, the base app, the system app, for all the versions that are there. So it's
Even the
surely
extensions.
reading. Yeah, every repo of Microsoft is available
Yeah.
on GitHub. So it's already learning from the code for the base app. So there's nothing much kind of to say as in how much you and me or other developers contribute on top of Microsoft code. We all
Yeah, even we're doing the same thing.
right. So as it start reading from human, I'm pretty sure it'll start understanding those patterns and then start referring the base Microsoft code in every situation wherever it needs help.
Hmm.
So that's a big deal, but that's okay. So like this is the repo that I'm talking about. It's a public repo from Microsoft called AL App Extension. So
Yes.
it have, I guess in the modules, yes. So it surely have the system app available here. So all the system app code kind of gets committed and updated here whenever the version changes. So last change was made for version 22. So all that code is available here. So I'm pretty sure that it should be able to write a pattern which is available in this source code and any other public source code which is available on GitHub. So that's the beauty. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how it changes the work that we do going forward and what happens with that.
Yes.
Okay.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, as a developer, we'll have to start accepting the fact that this will be part of our life. How big or small, that's a completely different question. And how much humans will be required, that's again a completely different question. But let's see how what exciting features come up with the GitHub Copilot for VS Code. Okay, then that'll be all for today, and then we'll talk next week. Let's see if I learn something new till next week.
Okay. Thank you. Today was fun.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Nav.
Thanks, man.
Bye.
Bye.